What up, guys? Your boy Quake back with a brand new episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast, number 409. And man, we got one of hip hop's greatest in a lot of people's eyes finally back, man, in terms of at least rapping for the most part. And it's been making headlines like crazy. And if you're unaware, it's Jay-Z basically responding to everybody that said something about him these past couple of years, because Jay-Z's been very silent when it comes to all the people that have dissed him and disrespected him throughout the years. But during the Roots Picnic Festival, he decided to freestyle and respond to everybody. So we're going to be talking about that, breaking down the bars, breaking down everybody's reactions, at least the people that got mentioned. And, Latto, Cardi B going at it, apologizing, Cardi B. That's going to be something that's very interesting. And a few other things, man. Updates to the Lil Durk case, 50 and his baby mama with the Diddy tape. So there's a few things out there that's been crazy this past week, and let's go over everything, because some of these is just, I don't even know what to say, man. With the Diddy tape was just like ridiculous. I actually had to watch that, believe it or not, but let's go over it. So the first thing is Lil Durk's update on his murder for hire case, and we reported this briefly, but now more details are coming out, and this is the prosecutors trying to add on more charges to Lil Durk's murder for hire case. So let's go over the article. Lil Durk's legal problems look like they're about to get worse as federal prosecutors signal that more charges could be filed. According to All Hip Hop, there are new allegations of racketeering-related infractions that will be added to his case, including racketeering murder charges. The recent court filing in Los Angeles disclosed plans to file additional charges related to the 2022 shooting involving Quando Rondo. The move was reportedly a strategic one intended to block Durk's co-defendant, DeAndre Wilson, from being released before trial. Authorities allege that Durk played a role in organizing a retaliatory attack against Quando Rondo in California. While Quando survived, his cousin Lil Pab was fatally shot during the incident near the Beverly Center. Prosecutors claim Wilson helped coordinate the shooting by recruiting other people from Chicago to travel to Los Angeles. The court documents claim that this group in particular monitored Quando Rondo for a day before they allegedly shot at him. The prosecutors described him as a key figure in the murder for hire trial, but Wilson's team has tried to argue that his alleged involvement was less significant than other people charged in the case. However, the government challenged that with surveillance footage captured in the aftermath of Robinson's death, where Wilson allegedly ordered food and talked to other people involved in the shooting less than an hour after it happened. Moreover, the filing also accuses Wilson of being out on bond in a separate murder case in Chicago when he traveled to Los Angeles. It should be noted that he was eventually acquitted on those charges. However, prosecutors cited it as a part of his criminal history. While prosecutors plan to oppose Wilson's release, he's also possibly facing charges in murder in aid of racketeering and conspiracy to commit stalking. However, the possible new charges against Durk are reportedly also related to older incidents, including the 2019 Varsity restaurant shooting and the 2022 murder of Stephon Mack. Durk was charged in the Varsity restaurant, but the charges were dropped. Authorities did not file charges related to Mack killing, though Durk was linked to it in federal documents. They're throwing everything at this guy. Lil Durk's attorney responded, and they actually posted on Lil Durk's actual Instagram page. Drew Finling is the person who responded. So let's go over what they had to say. They said, "This indictment is lipstick on a pig. For nearly 2 years now, federal prosecutors have desperately tried to fend off challenges to a very weak case. Now, just 2 months before trial, a trial that Durk Banks has demanded at every turn, they pull this pathetic pivot, recycling old accusations into a scrambling prosecutor's backup plan. Alleged racketeering and as many unrelated false claims as possible. This is not a sign of strength. It's an acknowledgement of weakness. The fact remains, Durk Banks is innocent no matter how many indictments they want to throw at him." There you have it, man. That's why you're paying one of the top attorneys in the world to defend you. So we'll see what happens moving forward, but this trial is set to go on, I believe, in August of this year. So we don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, August 25th of 2026. So we'll see what happens. Maybe the prosecutors get their wish and they'll add on more stuff, and that will just delay the trial even more, which is unfortunate because, if Durk didn't do any of this stuff or had any ties to this, then yeah, he's going to be locked up for no reason. But Durk's mom spoke about Durk and said that he's in better spirits and that he cut off his, I believe, dreadlocks as well. So we'll see what happens moving forward. But nonetheless, they're trying to throw the whole book at him and more. So, yeah. Cassie has officially moved out of the United States of America, and it's making insane headlines because she's the first one that initiated the Diddy lawsuits, and then that caused the whole spiral of things, and, where Diddy's now at prison locked up. So let's go over the article. It's been a harrowing ordeal for Cassie Ventura throughout her career, but these last few years have been devastating. After spending more than a decade in a relationship with Sean Diddy Combs, Ventura became central in a legal and cultural reckoning that transformed how the music industry viewed one of its most powerful executives. Her 2023 lawsuit accused Combs of years of abuse and control, allegations that were settled within 24 hours for a reported $20 million, but ultimately opened the door for dozens of additional claims against the bad boy founder. Months later, the release of hotel surveillance footage showing Combs physically assaulting Ventura gave the public a disturbing confirmation of behavior she had described in court filings. Since then, Ventura has largely remained focused on rebuilding her life away from the spotlight. She married personal trainer Alex Fine in 2019 and has continued raising their growing family while navigating the aftermath of a highly publicized legal battle. Her testimony during Combs' criminal proceedings offered further insight into the emotional toll of the relationship, forcing her to revisit some of the most painful moments of her life in a public setting. Now, TMZ reports that Ventura has relocated outside the United States following her reported settlement payout. The outlet claims to have obtained court documents related to the lawsuit involving Cassie and Clayton Howard, a male escort. I reside outside of the United States. I do not intend to move back to the United States, the filing read. Additionally, it states, she said, I am a citizen of the United States. I am not a resident of the state of California. Her location was not revealed, but TMZ reports that she requested to attend court in New York, where her legal team is based, rather than return to California. And this is because, Diddy's going to be facing charges in Los Angeles as well. So that's why this whole thing got brought up again. But, it's interesting that, the response to this was like, some people were like, why is she moving out, this and that. But I'm like, you guys don't understand. This guy, Diddy, is still going to be he's still going to be released at a certain time. I think in 2029 or something like that, or 2027, which is like next year. I forget what year, but I think it was 2029. But regardless, there's a time frame of when he becomes free. And when that happens, it's not like this guy's money just got completely banished. Yes, he's taken a hit financially in certain ways with companies not working with him, with brands and stuff like that, but he's still going to be well off. He's still going to be wealthy. Instead of being worth $1 billion, he's going to be probably worth 200, 300 million. With that kind of money, you can still do a lot of stuff and still, potentially hurt somebody. So with her being the catalyst to all the stuff that happened the past couple of years to Diddy, it is in her best interest to leave America. Like, why stay in an area where he's going to be at, where he's going to be frequent at? So I 100% agree with her. I hope she finds peace. I hope, I'm glad that she won the settlement, because the guy, just off the CNN video footage, like, she deserves that. He's a horrible person. And, I've seen people make disgusting comments of like, oh, she agreed with it because she went back and forth and doing it. And I feel like people don't realize the psychological effect of certain relationships, where you think someone loves you, but they don't, and they're still doing these harmful things, but then they come back and say they love you, and then they give you gifts and all this stuff. And it's a cycle of just toxicity. And, so I hope she finds peace, and I hope, that money at least fills some type of pain that she had. I know money doesn't solve everything, but, it certainly helps to be in a situation where you have $20 million extra. At least that's what, we don't know what the exact money settlement was, but regardless, that's a huge benefit to her and her family. So I'm glad she's moved out of there, man. Fuck that guy. And, he's going to be free, and he's going to be out here roaming around, probably doing the same shit he was doing before. I highly doubt he's going to change his ways. I mean, just look at if you haven't seen the video with 50's baby mama and Diddy and that male escort, it is weird, man. Diddy's just like watching this stuff, oiling them up. He's grabbing like oil and just like pouring it over them. And he's walking around like touching his little 2-inch Punisher as he's walking. It's just horrible, bro. It's like one of the worst videos. It's just, the guy's just weird, man. Weirdo guy. And so we'll see what happens moving forward with the LA case. But that's the whole reason this even got brought up again. Like I was talking about, Diddy is potentially facing new criminal charges in LA County. So let's go over this. Diddy's trouble doesn't seem to be ending anytime soon. According to TMZ, LA County's DA spokesperson, Venus Dune, said that they are currently reviewing new claims of sexual battery based on a police report filed by publicist Jonathan Hay in September 2025. Hay alleges that he encountered Diddy while working with CJ Wallace, Biggie Small's son, on a remix project. However, he accused the disgraced mogul of assaulting him on 2 occasions, once in 2020 and again in 2021. In September 2020, he said that he was left alone with Diddy, who he claims masturbated into a shirt that Biggie once owned and told him to come finish him off. Diddy allegedly threw the shirt at Hay afterward. Separately, Hay accused Diddy of forcing his blank into his mouth in March 2021 after labeling him a snitch. In this particular situation, Hay said that he was working with CJ on their project. At this point, no charges against Diddy have been filed, but TMZ reports that the LAPD investigated the claims and presented the case to the DA. If there's enough evidence, then Diddy could potentially face new criminal charges. The case was previously filed in Hay's hometown in Florida. However, since the crimes were allegedly committed in LA, the case was transferred. So there you go. This is what probably sparked up things to the Cass situation. And we'll see what happens moving forward, man. This guy's going to continue facing new charges, and he's going to have to fight like 80 of them still. So we'll see what happens. Latto has revealed that her diss track is indeed a diss track towards Cardi B. So let's go over this. Latto is on a promo run for her album, Big Mama. And on this promo run, she decided to stop by the Breakfast Club, and she spoke about her alleged diss track, which was the track, Gimme That. And on there, she said, let's clock it. Really got a Hermes store in my closet, talking about buying Big Mama a bag like my guy ain't already bought it, which is a response to Cardi B, who, after the Airtime remix came out with Cardi B and Ice Spice, literally right after that, there was a phone call made that leaked online of Cardi B essentially threatening Ice Spice, and she was talking to Ice Spice's managers and basically saying, let's link up. I'm not like Latto. Basically, I'm not soft, is what she said in the call. And that's like a little subliminal shot, towards Latto, which was unintentional to Cardi B. She said, I didn't mean it. I was just, talking, blah, 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 blah. And literally the following, after that phone call came out, the following day, she got on Twitter and apologized to Latto and offered to buy her bag. And then, obviously, now that the album came out from Latto, the Big Mama album, on that track, Gimme That, she then addresses that bag situation, which was the lyrics I just read to you earlier. And then Latto went on Breakfast Club and basically got asked, would you squash this beef with Cardi B? And she said she's, open to it, but that's like the last, thing on her mind right now because she has a kid. She's dealing with other stuff. She said that she recorded that song a long time ago when she was pregnant. And, that's what was on her mind at that time. But now she's kind of moved on from the situation. And Cardi B decided to tweet and respond to that interview. So first, watch this Breakfast Club interview, and then I'll talk about Cardi B's tweet.
So are you not still going to accept the bag from Cardi?
Yeah.
And on that, you have a verse where you talk about, you say, bitch said what, let's clock it. Really got a Hermes store in my closet. Talking about buying Big Mama a bag like a nigga ain't already bought it. Like my nigga ain't already coming off racks. Big bank, big facts. And we know that Cardi apologized publicly to you after she went on that rant against Ice Spice and mentioned you, and mentioned buying you a bag in private. And then this line came in. The fans were like, is she talking to Cardi? What's going on? Like, everybody's trying to piece it together and figure that out.
Well, yes. Yeah, it was about Cardi. Like we were saying earlier, like I rap about what's going on in my life at the moment. At the time, well, first of all, I made this album over 9 months. I made the album while I was pregnant. And I was at an early stage in my pregnancy. And I rushed to the studio to do this verse for her in time for the first week sales, whatever. And
For Airtime?
Yeah, for the Airtime remix. And literally like 2 days later, I'm all over the internet, I'm being called pussy. I'm pregnant, emotions high, like
hormonal.
And it's someone I dead ass looked at as a friend. Like I understand this industry shit first too, but we was on a texting basis. So I feel like, you tweeted to the world but we got each other number.
Yeah.
You know?
So y'all never talked personally after that, around that?
So then, like, probably like 2 months later, something like that, she did text me, but by that time, I'm like, that ain't even like, I'm not even thinking about that shit no more. You know what I'm saying? So
have y'all spoke since then?
Since the song has dropped?
I haven't spoke since the record came out.
Nope.
Would you be open to the conversation, or you just?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm open to the conversation. When I don't know, cause I got a baby now and some more shit. Like I got life done kept moving. But yeah, I made that like when the people just now hearing that song. But like I made that song when that was a topic in my life. It wasn't no diss. Like that's just what was happening in my life. Like you talking about buying big mama bag, bitch, my nigga do that. Like I don't need no damn bag. Like that's just where I was in life. It is what it is.
And then not to make up for calling me pussy either. Like I don't want to bang.
Yeah, especially in exchange for that. Like I don't know. It just left a bad taste in my mouth. So I just like I was in the booth and that's just what was happening, and then I just said what was happening, and you know what I'm saying.
After that interview came out, then Cardi B tweeted and said, "I truly understand how you feel, and that's exactly why I chose to apologize publicly, because the disrespect became public. On that call, I didn't even mean to call you that. I didn't mean any harm. There's a difference in what I said versus what I meant. What I could have said was you was too forgiving and gave too much mercy in that situation. But it was a heated conversation, and I let my mouth get the best of me. When the call came out, I was 8 months pregnant, had just released my album, was extremely overwhelmed and emotional. That's not to excuse what I said, but just to let you know where I was in my head. I genuinely felt bad about what happened in 2025 and 2026. I made multiple attempts to connect. I spoke to your manager, your sister, and even texted you directly to take full responsibility. I always had love and respect for you. I always wanted to make it right, but making it right looks different for the both of us. I wanted to connect with you, but you wanted to address it on your album." So she's essentially apologizing again, which is a great look, man. Taking accountability is very important. And yeah, we'll see what happens moving forward from this, but that's the essential back and forth with Latto. And, you know, some people feel like, you know, if somebody's going to talk bad about you like that in private, you know, you shouldn't really be friends with them, because Latto had nothing to do with what was going on with Cardi and Ice Spice. And then Latto has their own issues with Ice Spice, and they were getting dragged back and forth. So, you know, people felt like Latto just, you know, didn't do anything wrong in the situation, and why should she, you know, make amends? But I mean, sometimes, hey man, sometimes people make mistakes. So shout out to Cardi for like acknowledging the mistakes, addressing it, and saying, hey, we can move past this and, you know, be friends again, which would be cool, man, because a lot of females are beefing back and forth with each other. It's really gotten crazy out here, man. It's ridiculous. But that's the update on that, and let me know what you guys think on the situation. I don't even know how to start this video off. Basically, the tape with Diddy and 50 Cent's baby mama and that other guy who's a male entertainer, to say the least, because I have to watch what kind of words I use, you know, because of, you know, whatever YouTube rules and all these other platforms that have their rules. But essentially, a Diddy tape doing adult things with 50 Cent's baby mama has leaked online. And I watched it for research purposes, okay? Legitimately, you know, I know people do that to troll and say, hey, you know, I watched this for research, but I'm serious. Research purposes. Unfortunately, I had to watch it, and yeah, well, let's go over it. We're going to talk about it, and then 50 Cent gives his reaction to it and see what he has to say about it. The first time we ever heard about this tape was on Vlad TV, when Vlad had that adult entertainer on his platform. And this guy talked about, you know, having the tape and being with Diddy and 50's baby mama, and, you know, them paying him, I don't know how much money. I think it was like $10,000, something, like a couple of grand at least. And having Diddy basically be in the corner watching everything naked, essentially. And yeah, he was right. He was telling the truth. He wasn't capping about anything. The full tape leaked. And I think the funniest thing out of all this, because I watched, you know, I skimmed through it for the most part, and I watched at the end, I think 50's baby mama says something like, we got to get like nasty in this dirty hotel or something like that. And Diddy like stops her and says, no, wait, this is a clean, rich hotel. Like, why would Diddy just, you know, I just found that part very, very funny. But the whole video is essentially, you know, her doing her thing with a guy and Diddy just walking around butt naked, essentially. And yeah, he's not packing. Let's just say that. He is not well endowed under there. No Diddy. And it makes sense as to why he's done this, to say the least. It makes sense now. Like the dots have connected for me, because I think personally, I mean, for me, I can speak for me only. I would never be in a corner watching somebody else do something else to a girl I'm with. That just is weird to me. Now, everybody has their own fetishes and things that they like to do. It is what it is, but I don't get it. The only reason it makes sense is because Diddy isn't packing at all. Like, legitimately, he's got a micro, you know what, very micro. And because of that, he needs, at least I remember the male entertainer saying that he's always wanted somebody else to pleasure his girlfriend or whoever he's with at the time, because he can't fully do it because of his micro, you know what. So this video confirmed that. And it makes total sense as to why Diddy is the way Diddy is, to say the least. He acts very aggressive, very in your face, and all this, you know, big and powerful and all this. And come to find out, this guy, you know, his manhood isn't manhooding. Let's just say that. I don't know what words to use, to be honest with you. This is like my honest, real reaction. I don't know what to say. The footage starts out with a different color in the room, and then it goes to red. And yeah, to say the least, it is, you know, let's go to 50 Cent's reaction. And because there's something I want to talk about that really, I think, hurts basically a child in this situation. It's unfortunate. So let's go over what 50 Cent has said about the tape leaking online. So 50 on his Instagram posted a report that says, oops, social users react to the alleged footage of Diddy, 50's baby mama, Daffy and Joy, and a male blank surfacing online. I'm side-eyeing every chick that been with him, is what a lot of people are saying. 50 in the caption wrote this: she's not a victim. Sire is. Can you imagine going to 8th grade to find out this is your mom? The court system in LA thinks it's fine. This is the angle that a lot of people don't think about. Is the children in this. Sire is 50 Cent's son, and that girl that's in the video with Diddy is his mother. It is unfortunate that the kid has to kind of deal with these type of headlines about his mom. It's unfortunate his mom made those decisions to do this, because she's the baby mother of 50 Cent. I'm pretty sure 50 Cent was giving her more than enough money to, you know, live her life. I'm thinking about Sire, because he's the one that's going to have to deal with backlash and just kids making fun of and all this. And if I had a message to him, like if I had a kid that was related to me or any kid that was going through this, I think the only message I can give to them that I think is reassuring is that everything with time, stuff like this passes. I know it feels like probably at this moment it's like the end of the world, but as time goes on, people move on from this stuff. People don't care. You know, most people forget about it and just move on. I mean, there's been plenty of tapes out there, and for the most part, people have moved on. It's just unfortunate for the kid. Shame on his mother. Shame on her for doing this, because, you know, she's not thinking about, you know, the repercussions that lead to her son having to deal with this stuff. In 8th grade, that's very unfortunate, man. 50's caption makes a lot of sense, and you know, if the LA system is allowing her to take custody of a kid and she's doing this type of stuff, who is the more well-equipped parent to actually take care of the kid, 50 or her? Because she should lose custody, in my honest opinion, because this is putting her son in more danger than anything 50 could be doing. In fact, 50's got the money to actually protect and provide and everything, way more than her. With that being said, that's their personal problems. I hate getting into like family and kids and all this other stuff, but 50, you know, brought it out there with the post that he did. So that's kind of my take on it. It's unfortunate. And then 50 posted again, and it is a blurry photo of Diddy basically naked. And he says, "Free Diddy. He has gone through enough being born with no P word, you know, no penis, you know what I'm saying? LOL." And that is just like, that is just crazy, man. I just, I don't know what to say, man. That is just really, 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 it's unfortunate, man. You can make fun of the situation, all that, but when you think about the actual kid, it is a very unfortunate situation. And that's where my thoughts are at when it comes to any of these type of things that happen, is you got to think of the family, especially the kids that don't know what's going on. Their parents, their family's in the public eye, and they got to deal with whatever comes with that. So I hope Sire, is not getting, treated poorly in any way, shape, or form, because it's tough to deal with, man. I don't know. Like I said, it's very important. I've said this millions of times. Know, who you're sleeping with, who you're gonna have kids with. Like, be very selective, whether it's male or female, because males out here acting crazy as well too. So it's not just females, but just be very careful on who you're having kids with and who you're deciding to marry. I've been single for a couple of years now, and I'm very selective in how, I want my wife to be. And, some people just kind of sleep around, do whatever, and, that catches up with them. And if you look at the overall situation, it's a mess, man. And I knew that video would eventually leak because of the Vlad interview and, him showing Vlad. Now, the question is, who leaked it? 50 jokingly, like months ago, said he'll pay Vlad to get the footage. So, maybe it's 50 to try to sabotage, Daffy and Joy, and have, Daffy and Joy, lose custody of the kid. Maybe, somebody got a hold of that guy's phone. Maybe somebody paid that guy, that male, performer, a lot of money. Somebody random and said, hey, I want the footage and I'm going to put it out, because it randomly leaked online a couple days ago, actually. It just started catching flames today. People reporting on it and talking about it. But yeah, man, overall sad situation, weird situation. I don't know what word to put situation, but let me know what you guys think of the situation. And Jay-Z is back, and he's sending responses to everybody that's mentioned his name throughout the years. The Roots had their annual festival called the Roots Picnic, and Jay-Z was a special guest there. And while there, Jay-Z even brought on Beanie Sigel and Freeway to perform some music as well, essentially bringing the old rock back. But he did something that was catching everyone's attention, and it was a new acapella freestyle. And in this freestyle, he responded to Drake, who just went at him a few times on the Iceman album. He responded to Kanye West. He responded to Nicki Minaj, Tory Lanez, Jaguar Wright, Dame Dash. Basically, almost everybody that's mentioned his name throughout the years, besides 50 Cent. That's probably the only person he didn't diss in his freestyle. So let's break down this freestyle and talk about the bars that are dissing certain people. The freestyle starts out saying, Hattie's turning 100. If she would have transitioned before I cleared my name, I would have hunted them, every one of them playing these silly games. Hattie is Jay-Z's grandmother, who just turned 100 in September of 2025. And here he's basically saying that had she passed away before I actually addressed everyone, I would have been even more furious. Continuing on in these next bars, he addresses Tony Busby, the lawyer that is suing Jay-Z by taking on these random clients that are accusing Jay-Z of all kinds of things, from child stuff to, grown adult stuff of rape and all this other things. In the bars, he says that 1-800 ambulance chaser would have wished one came, but 9/11 is a joke. Public enemy number one, I've been ranked. The bars of the 1-800 ambulance chaser is obviously, going at Tony Busby, claiming that this guy, the second that something happens or somebody slips and falls, there's a lawsuit immediately coming. And he's basically saying this guy's just a lawsuit scammer guy who, accuses people of things and hopes that the person will settle so that they can win money out of the situation. And then he has a play on the 911 is a joke song by Public Enemy and says basically, I am the public enemy number one in this situation, it seems like. Now, in these next bars, he goes at Tory Lanez and their dad. So he says this, the rock's not crumbling. The leprechauns have magically run out of pranks. Leprechauns is kind of funny because Tory Lanez is fairly short. Your son on the federal jail line mumbling something about having too much in his drink. You know how dumb that is. Here's implying that Tory Lanez dug his own grave during a recorded phone call with Kelsey Harris, Megan Thee Stallion's former friend, who was present during the incident, in which he apologized for what transpired, stating that he got too drunk. Jay-Z saying, you're a moron yourself for getting drunk and then spilling whatever beans to the story that was there. These next bars is a disrespect towards Dame Dash. He says, another one fumbled his. Wonder how I get the blame. Guys, his teeth is tumbling out the mouth, and somehow I'm the one who done it. It's a murder mystery, gang. This is funny because Dame Dash has that video where he's talking and his teeth flies out his mouth because he's getting dental surgery or whatever. But basically Jay-Z's saying, like, here's another guy that puts blame on me for their career failing. So he addresses that and, makes fun of the teeth situation. He continues going at Dame more and says, you had the cash cow and thunk it. What, you a bumpkin? I'm the one who strummed the pain, that hill you could die on. It's way too much flack that comes from those planes. I'm killing them softly. What's understood don't need to be explained. You want it one way, it's the other. I still own you suckers. I'll marty you guys, gang. I ain't much for meetings, know how. Cancel the brunches. I remember the hunger pain. In the beginning, he's talking about I'm the golden geese that lays the eggs, and Dame Dash had that relationship with me, but he ruined it. He's the one that destroyed everything. And these other bars, he's saying, I'm the one that has to deal with a lot of the BS that comes from being in this position, but you guys want the rewards and benefits from it. But he's like, I'll still handle it regardless of whatever comes in my way. Then he says, I ain't much for meetings, know how, cancel the brunches. I remember the hunger pain. You know, the Rock Nation brunches that he had with Diddy there. And, you know, a lot of people were giving him flack because after, you know, Diddy got locked up and, you know, now he's doing time for all the stuff that he did. He's saying that I didn't have to do those brunches and they're no longer ever being done again. But in here, he also addresses Drake talking about the 500,000 or taking dinner with Jay-Z, which is a social media thing that everybody asks, would you take 500,000 or dinner with Jay-Z? And Drake himself said on Iceman he wouldn't take dinner because he has nothing to learn from these guys. And Jay-Z addresses that saying, I am much for meetings, know how. Basically saying that I don't even care to even take the meeting in the first place. Then Jay-Z continues, says, the price of the bricks going up, it's going to cost you a beat to even say my name. And here it's a double entendre. He's saying it's going to cost you billions to even mention my name, but then he also mentions B as in Beyonce, who has a song called Say My Name. Now, in these next bars, he addresses Kanye West, who said some very disrespectful things to Jay-Z's kids a while ago on X. He said this, you ever heard of a wonderkind? My children is some of them. Have you guys no shame? Y'all trying to get under skin. I really get under skin. Ask how I'm playing. Wonderkind is basically a wonder child, somebody who's like very gifted and talented. He's saying that I'm the one. I'm the wonder child. I'm the one that's the gifted the most. And he's so gifted that even the people around him ended up becoming special. And he's talking about, you know, Kanye West, Drake, all these people that looked up to Jay-Z and has, you know, been around Jay-Z to certain extents. But here he's mainly addressing Kanye West, saying basically this guy came up under me and I'm the one that birthed these guys to even be the great ones that they are. When he says, have you guys no shame, he's talking about Kanye West's tweet, which he said some very, very disrespectful things. And I'm going to go over it, but I don't want, you know, to say it word for word because YouTube's not going to allow me because it's fairly disrespectful. These are the tweets that Kanye sent out and then later apologized for. He says, wait, has anyone ever seen Jay-Z and Beyonce's younger kids? They're the R word. No, like literally. And this is why artificial insemination is such a blessing. Having you know what, children is a choice. I need everyone to know that I took the post about Jay-Z and Beyonce's family down and Jerry Lorenzo's family down because there was a possibility of my Twitter being canceled, not because I'm a good person. I took it down like Down syndrome. Get it? Am I right? Am I right? F the world, real talk, F everybody. So this is when Kanye was having those spazzes. Jay-Z addresses it and says, like, have you guys do you have no shame in going after children? Like, this is crazy, he's basically saying. And then he's like, y'all trying to get under skin. I really get under skin. Ask how I'm playing. So here, you know, Jay-Z has kind of confirmed this a few times, but he's talking about Lance on Rivera, which he's been accused of stabbing a while ago when he got arrested in December 1st of 1999. Continuing on, he says, y'all felt what y'all felt again. Everyone think they're the ones insane. You're no maniac. Watch how sane he act in my presence. Guys, shrink. Here he's talking about Kanye, obviously. You know, Kanye does all these antics and rants and stuff, but he's saying if he was in front of me, he would act very humble, respectful, and he would shrink. He's not that guy that people think he is online. What's funny is Kanye just had the biggest show ever for a single artist. I think at 118,000 people in Istanbul, Turkey, which is insane. So Kanye right now is making his own waves and dominating his own, you know, way, even though he's been essentially banned from almost everything. Then he says, I need a new therapist. This is not working. I'm truly on the brink. Y'all better not encourage him. Y'all don't want me to think these thoughts that I think. That nut-ass guy still stuttering. Here's referring to the rapper Oshino, I'm probably butchering his name, of State Property, who, you know, he stutters in interviews. I mean, if you watch his interviews, he definitely stutters a lot. And here, Jay-Z's like, that guy's still stuttering, you know, so he just sends him a little shot. And this is a clear shot at Dame Dash. He says, that chatty patty down on his luck again. And we know Dame Dash always says, you know, you're chatty patty talking about other people. So this is a clear shot at him. And then he says at the next bar, he says, Quest introduced me to Jaguar. I don't know why I still F with him. You wonder why I didn't do the freestyle rehearsal. So here he calls out Quest from the Roots and says, you're the one that introduced me to Jaguar, right? And I shouldn't be, having love for you at all, but I still do, in a joking way, he says. And obviously Jaguar Wright is somebody who's, put out all these conspiracy theories and stuff about Jay-Z left and right. She's been fairly silent right now, but I'm pretty sure she's going to address this as well. In these next bars, Jay-Z is going at Nicki Minaj, addresses her and her kid and her husband and the whole MAGA thing that she's, associated with. So let's go over this. The lady back on that stuff. He's basically accusing her of, being on some type of drug. She sounds like she in love with him. Her Ken/kin can't even take their kid. Enough of them. In these bars, he actually goes at Nicki Minaj's cousin and Nicki Minaj's husband because they've both been charged with something relating to children, with them doing something bad to children. So he addresses both of them and says they can't even go and pick up their kid from school or anything because they have to be away from schools, from areas like playgrounds where children are around. And then he kind of like messes around with it and just like, enough of that. I don't want to talk about that because that's sensitive information and sensitive stuff, when you bring kids into it. But Nicki has brought kids into it. Kanye West has brought kids into it. So Jay-Z is more than able to do that because they've been doing it for so long. And then he addresses Nicki and says, she can't be anything to me because I'm actually dealing with government things, like the government being against me versus some rapper like Nicki going at me. So he says this, a rapper can't be my op. I got MAGA Republicans. Them shots came from the very top of the government. Good luck with them. I'm governed by God. You trying to break the covenant. He continues, says, I reigned for 40 days. My neck got flooded again. Wrist will get flooded again. My net worth went up again. Here making some Bible references and, Jesus flooding for 40 days. Stuff like that. Some cool little bars. And then he says, my next update, the jig is up. This is a response to Drake on the Janice STFU where he says, we know how you OGs rocking already. The jig is up. And this is where he directly goes at Drake. He says, guy, I'm up 10. Wrong chart, champ. You got to look up again. Guys look up to Hove. I never looked up to them. The crackers got your publishing gangsta. Go talk tough to them. Don't talk success to me. You guys as workers. In perpetuity is how your contract is worded. He's basically saying, look, just because you beat me on the Billboard #1 albums, of all time list, doesn't mean that you're ahead of me. I'm up 10 steps ahead of you. I'm at a different level. And then he says, you're the one that used to look up to me. I never looked up to you. And there's various songs and videos of Drake basically praising Jay-Z. I mean, in the Rap Radar interview, here's a clip of him talking about how much he loves Jay-Z. And then obviously, we got the bars where Drake says, I never cried when Pac died, but I probably will when Hove does. So like there's bars where, clearly Drake has had huge admiration for Jay-Z.
I look at Hove as like the guy who truly probably shaped majority of my thinking, skill set, all those things.
So he says, these guys came up under me. You guys are the ones looking up to me. I never, looked up to you guys. And this is the same talk that Jay-Z does of like sunning people and saying he's way bigger than certain artists. But in reality, Drake has caught up to Jay-Z's status, if not exceeded it in less years in his career. Remember, Drake beat Jay-Z's #1 album record in 5 years less than Jay-Z did. Because Jay-Z started in 1996. His last solo album came out in 2017. That's 21 years. Drake in 2010 to 2026, that's 16 years. It's a 5-year difference. So Drake has, surpassed him to certain extents and a lot of different levels. So sunning him and pretending like he's this, he's below him. I don't know, man. Continuing on, he says, the crackers got your publishing gangs, go talk tough to them, which Drake has been. He's been mentioning Lucian throughout the whole album. So he's been talking, tough to them. So to say that, he's not, and that he's not addressing Lucian, all these people, when Jay-Z, you could point out things to Jay-Z where, he's been quiet about certain things. When he was with Harvey Weinstein, he never spoke up, about the Harvey Weinstein situation despite being close to him. I mean, there's videos of them hanging out and, going to events, dinners, and all this other crazy stuff. And I never, we never heard Jay-Z address that and talk bad about anybody else in that type of field. That's more the, corporate executive role. And then he says, don't talk success to me. You guys as workers in perpetuity is how your contract is worded. I hate the word perpetuity because I've dealt with contracts that try to slide that word in there. If you don't know, perpetuity is forever. It's when you're in a deal forever. And I never, that word is like a cancer to me whenever I hear it. So he's saying you guys have deals where you're enslaved to owe whoever you owe forever. But we don't know. This is all speculation of what Jay-Z is. You know, Jay-Z's the one saying he owns everything and that this and that. But Jay-Z's also been in the game, 1996 till 2010? What is that, 16 years? He has a 16-year head start to Drake. Drake started in 2010 with his first album. So as the years go on, there's actually legally where certain songs and certain albums go back to the rightful owner, which is the artist. So yeah, Jay-Z has probably got some of his stuff back, but to say that he's got everything back and he owns everything, and we don't know. You know, unless people pull out their contracts and paperwork, that's the only way you're going to know. But I do believe Jay-Z is obviously in a better position owning his music than Drake is. But that's because Drake hasn't had enough time in the game. But Drake's also had the biggest contract ever in music recording history with that $400 million deal. And if he clears a $1 billion deal, Drake became a billionaire just solely off of music. And Jay-Z never did that. Jay-Z got a billionaire based off of his business ventures and his music. You know, you can look at it multiple ways, but I get what Jay-Z is, you know, Jay-Z's sunning him and saying like, hey, I actually own my stuff. You're just talking, but you're battling with the label and yet to release 3 albums to basically get out of your label contract. So you can see it multiple ways, but that's the way I'm looking at it. And then he says, don't make me go back and forth, man. The Roots remember even when the trees pretend. And these bars are dope as hell because he's basically saying like, I'm the roots of this hip hop stuff. Like in one way or another, I've influenced the newer rappers that come out, whether you like it or not. So he's basically saying like, don't pretend like I didn't. And then continuing on, he says, not too much on my name. Don't forget who I am. Hattie loves her Shawnees, SHAWN. I find it adorable. She put the S at the end. You don't know, the show ain't even begin. I say you don't know, the show ain't even begin. So I think based off these last bars here, the show ain't even begin. I know he transitioned it to a song on the actual video, but I think Jay-Z has more to give and to address moving forward because I think Drake is going to respond to this. There's been rumors that he's going to release Scary Hours 4, the EP, with a couple of tracks. So I think he is going to address and respond to this immediately. And I called it, I think on, I don't know when, a couple months ago, that Drake versus Jay-Z is eventually going to happen. I can see that being a way for Jay-Z to get inspired, to come back to do music, and for Drake to try and redeem himself after the Kendrick Lamar thing. And hey, man, I'm all for it, man. That's the top of the top going at each other. And, you know, Jay-Z's a lot older. I think he's 56 years old. So, you know, there's only a certain extent where people are still going to listen to this guy because I think at a certain age, people just kind of phase out these older artists and view them as like washed up. But, hey, hip-hop has changed, man. I think now we're enjoying a lot of the older artists because we're just realizing they're way more talented than the newer artists. Like Jay-Z is literally out-rapping 99% of people with just this freestyle. You know, like these bars are bars, you know, and I'm not the biggest Jay-Z fan ever, but I can acknowledge when something is dope, and Jay-Z definitely delivered something dope here. I just want to hear it over a beat. I want to hear it over a new album. That would be really dope. But overall, let me know what you guys think, man. I think you can poke at any different angle on all of these disses and bars on both sides. You know, I think with the Drake thing that, you know, it ruffled his feathers that Drake is reaching this level and is starting to break records that, one, no rapper has ever broke, but not just rapper, but no artist like that. Debuting at 1, 2, and 3, nobody's ever done that. So he's breaking these records that people just have never seen, and he's, you know, sending shots at people while doing it. So he's basically flexing his muscles and saying like, hey, you guys tried to get me out of here in 2024 and 2025 with the halftime Super Bowl, with Kendrick and all this other stuff, but it didn't work. I'm still here. I'm still dominating, and I'm disrespecting you guys while I'm doing it. So we'll see what happens moving forward. I'm excited. This is where things get interesting, and I know Drake will respond, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other people will start to add in their 2 cents, and I'm going to check into that because I know LeBron James has addressed what Jay-Z said and all this other stuff, so I'll make a video on that right after this one. But let me know what you guys think. Let's talk about Jay-Z's Roots Picnic Freestyle and all the people that have responded to the freestyle that came out. Some were mentioned that responded and some weren't. And I already broke down the lyrics of who he's dissing, from Dame Dash to Tory Lanez to Kanye West to Drake, Jaguar Wright. so on and so forth. There's quite a few people he addressed throughout all these years that have had his name in their mouths. And now most of them have responded. And we're going to start off first with 50 Cent. Even though 50 Cent wasn't mentioned in the freestyle, 50 decided to add his 2 quarters in it. And he didn't do it like on Instagram or directly from his own mouth. Uncle Murda on the Real Report podcast with Tony Yayo revealed what 50 thought of the freestyle. So check out this clip.
I don't know if it was a Brooklyn Spider sentence or something, because you was like, yo, he gonna come back with a diss. I swear to God, he said that.
I knew it. I mean,
I didn't think so.
Jay too competitive, and Jay too competitive. Even when, even when we kick it with Fifth, he let you like, Jay wants to be the #1 rapper, period.
Yeah.
Jay wants to be that guy.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So when somebody who's
but
looked
how much you want? How much you want? You got all the money. You didn't run Def Jam. How much?
He don't.
You got Rock Nation. How much you want?
When somebody who's looked at as the guy right now being Drake, and people highlighting all week talking about how Drake said this about Jay, Jay sitting back like, what? Right. Yeah, niggas think something sweet.
Look, he blew
and niggas been taking shots at Jay for the last couple years, but now he like, oh, nah, fuck all that.
I think it got to him because he blew like, how many, you would say what, 3 shots at him?
It was about 3, 4 shots a year.
Look, the jig is up.
He take the money the money instead of the dinner.
The money to the dinner, and what was the third shot? There's another third
his
shot.
His niggas run to prison. Y'all niggas want to call Hov for a second opinion, all type of shit.
That was the third shot.
Yeah, all type of shit.
I think Hov was like, damn, this nigga got the whole album getting at me.
He talking like that? All right,
what you think happened? Because they had a verse together, though. Remember, Drake had him on what album?
I just felt like
which album Drake
had? I felt like when the whole industry, he was on Certified Lover Boy.
Yeah,
correct.
He
had
the dog, the
Love record.
Mm-hmm.
I think Drake felt like when everybody went against him, I guess he felt like it was a bigger plot. He probably felt like Jay was a part of that as well.
So do you think people like 50, Nicki, NBA Youngboy are smarter for not fucking with people and fucking with artists? Because when you really think about it, 50 didn't fuck with nobody, but he's still successful. Nicki didn't really fuck with all the female rappers, but she's still successful. NBA Youngboy don't really fuck with all the rappers, and he's still successful. Drake fucked with all the rappers, he's still successful, but they all flipped on him.
That's a good point.
And he's still successful.
He's still successful.
Drake is,
he said that.
He's the biggest artist in the world, hands down. He sells the best records. He's sold out everything. He broke every record there is to break. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, if I'm Jay, I'm not happy about that either.
But
you know what I'm saying?
And you know what?
Jay even broke down how it was different a little bit. Jay tried to break down how it was different.
So this is something that 50 Cent has been saying for a while, actually, that Jay is always been competitive. And of course, these guys are humans at the end of the day, guys. It's always surprises me when people think that these celebrities don't go online and see what's said about them. They don't, like, think about it. If you were a celebrity at that level, to a certain extent, if your name was being brought up that many times, you would be intrigued to see what's being said to a certain point. I know there's some people that are completely obsessed that are celebrities that every day they look, and then there are some that check in here and there. And Jay-Z is the type that I think checks in here and there, but he definitely sees. To act like these celebrities are top of the line and never go online and never see what's being said about them is just ridiculous. So that whole narrative that Jay always wants to be the #1 guy and the talked about and the top of everything is true. 50 called that, nailed it on the head with that. But that was 50's kind of reaction to the freestyle, which was cool to see. But the #1 guy that has responded is Dame Dash. He's actually going viral for his responses because he appeared on The Art of Dialogue and just went on a whole tangent about Jay being broke and his breath stinking and all kinds of stuff. So I can't play the full thing. But the first response that he had was on Instagram. And on this Instagram post, as you can see, it's goofy and it's dressed up as Jay-Z. And he just put a laughing emoji tagging Jay-Z. That was the first response he had. And then he decided to appear on The Art of Dialogue. And I'm going to play a little bit of his response to Jay-Z, mainly the most funniest parts. And then go out and check out Art of Dialogue to see the full interview of Dame Dash responding to Jay-Z.
If he hasn't said anything in 20 years, why you think he's starting now? Why after 20 years and you 60, do you want to come back outside? And you got, look, even Charlemagne was defending this nigga today. He's so allegedly gay about it. He doesn't even hide it. Pause. They're so gay for each other. Or he's so gay for this nigga. Pause. Like he wouldn't even admit that rap was terrible. That did you like? Was that a Jay-Z rap? Was that ROC? We running this rap shit. That he didn't put me on no Summer Jam screen. Pause. Jay's breath always used to stink, and you know why? Because for some reason, don't you hate when niggas got bad breath and chew Big Red? It's just cinnamon doodle. Nobody wants to smell that. I hope this nigga is not still chewing Big Red with bad breath on that mic, because that mic must have been stinking. And then he dressed up like a mic. This is not the version, Jay, please. Make Jay great again. That's the new slogan.
The part that made me laugh the most is the cinnamon doo-doo breath of the Big Red gum. And that's just, I ain't gonna lie, man. Dame Dash, sometimes he's funny as hell, man. I wonder if Jay-Z sees that and just what does he think? It's just so funny. So that was Dame Dash's response. He went on this whole comedy spiel. One person that didn't get mentioned who supports Jay-Z is LeBron James, and he posted the freestyle essentially praising him, a bunch of emojis, and says it's The Rock. And we've known LeBron James to be very, very close to Jay-Z and Rock Nation, and obviously he's having his own issues with Drake now. Drake doesn't like LeBron, and they're beefing back and forth essentially because of the whole Kendrick Lamar thing. So no surprise there, LeBron James decides to side with Jay-Z on this whole thing. The next person to respond is Jaguar Wright, who got dissed in the freestyle as well. And Jaguar Wright is someone who has spewed an insane amount of narratives, conspiracy theories, some stuff that actually hold weight to it, but some of it's just kind of crazy stuff. But she has responded, so let's play the clip.
Did you even take that as a diss, him mentioning your name there? Yeah, did you even take it as a diss?
Not at all. What I took it as, game on. That's what I took it as. He's ready to say my name. So that means we about to get into some ignorant shit.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I will say this, Jack, he did laugh it off.
But he ain't say nothing about Diddy, though. He ain't say nothing about Diddy. Like, you want to sit up there and talk about, I can't believe I still fuck with you and you the one that introduced me to her. But Diddy's the one that put Tony Busby in your life. Why ain't he get no bars? Matter of fact, you ain't had shit to say about Diddy at all. Alex Spiro said something about you and Diddy, but you haven't had anything to say about Diddy. You haven't denounced his behavior. You haven't denounced and said that you're appalled by the things that you've seen and witnessed, and you can't believe you did business with that man. You haven't bothered to say that you care about what happened to the victims, or that you stand with the victims, you and your wife, and y'all offer prayers and support in any way possible because you can't believe all the stuff. Like, that would have been the right thing to do.
Essentially, Jaguar Wright is saying that, hey, Jay-Z had no words for Diddy, which is true. He should have addressed the Diddy situation, said something about that if he's going to talk about everybody else, because that was one of his quote-unquote best friends. But also he was trying to hold back Black Thought as an artist, that he should have choice words for Tony Busby, who was the one that got him. He should really blame Diddy because he's the one that got him in that Tony Busby situation, and so on and so forth, attacking kids. But she had a pretty decent points when she was making her response. And then the other person that responded was, I'm terrible. I pronounced this guy's name, and I think it's Osino, something like that. He used to be signed to Jay-Z's label, and Jay-Z had the bars, you stuttering. You making fun of his basically stuttering. And he responded on multiple platforms. He was actually the first one to respond immediately. So check out his response.
Oh, I was you say my name on it, just gonna get me paid, bro. Bro, I can't believe you, bro. If you got, listen, let me tell you something. When you got $1 billion, you still want to be in Philly on the stage, that means you're an attention whore. You're an attention seeker. You want all the attention. He mad Drake popping. Drake, young, handsome, you took his spot. He want the attention. He not even the top artist in his house. He talking about Dame Dash lost his TV. People fall off. It's okay. And everybody that talk about Dame broke or whoever broke, they probably broke too. Everybody been broke before. Maybe not you, because you steal everything. You hoard all the money like this. What you do? You should have $1 billion. You stole everybody's songs. Ain't pay nobody. Well, why wouldn't you have $1 billion? So just think about this. You say somebody you have a hard time, right? So say you steal these songs, don't want to pay them for them. I mean, mind you, anybody that got $1 billion and happy to see somebody have a hard time, that says a lot about their character.
So that's his response. And the last 2 or at least 3 people that need to be responding that people are really interested in is first Drake. He's probably going to respond on Wax with, there's rumored to be a Scary Hours 4 EP coming out pretty soon. So I'm pretty sure Drake will respond on Wax, and that might start the Drake versus Jay-Z war. And the second person that's going to be responding that people are interested in is Kanye West, aka Ye. We're going to see if he actually says something at one of these shows that he's doing, or if he drops music responding to him, or maybe he doesn't care at all and doesn't respond. And then the third is obviously Nicki Minaj. She said a lot of things about Jay-Z. So now who knows if she's actually going to respond and, give back the same energy that, he gave her and her kid and, the husband and all that. So those are the 3 people that haven't responded yet, but I'm interested in seeing mainly Drake's response because obviously I think that's what really, really prompted Jay-Z to actually do this, is because Drake took like 3 to 4 different disses towards Jay-Z in the whole Iceman album, which is hilarious. So we'll see what happens moving forward, but that's it for now. And I can't wait, man. I hope Drake responds promptly. Let's get into it. New music. Bryson Tiller dropped The Low. Vince Staples dropped Crybaby, the album. Big Walk Doc dropped Until Then, the album. Freddie Gibbs dropped You Only Die Once, the deluxe version. Shabuzi dropped Cowgirl. Taylor Swift dropped I Knew It From You from Toy Story 5, a song. I guess French Montana, Max B, and Remy Ma dropped Ever Since You Left Me. Big Bronx remix. I got to check that out. Lizzo dropped her album and a few other people. Tory Lanez, 100 Reasons, Lost Tapes 2022. So check out that music that's come out. Album sales. Drake is still dominating, man. He's at the 2nd week at number 1 and is scheduled to be on the 3rd week at number 1 as well. So Iceman's still at number 1 with 217,000 sold. Number 2, Ella Langley, Dandelion at number 2. I just said that already, with 92,000 sold. Noah Khan, The Great Divide at number 3 with 82,000 sold. Number 4, Morgan Wallen, I'm the Problem, 79,000. Number 5, Michael Jackson, Thriller, 61,000. Number 6, Michael Jackson, number 1's 58,000. Number 7, Habib T. Drake, 51,000. Number 8, Maid of Honor, Drake, 42,000. Number 9, I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name, Les Sepharim, Pure Flow Part 1, debuted at number 9 with 42,000. And then BTS, Air Rang, number 10 with 40,000. Don Toliver, Octane, number 12 with 36,000. Says that SOS, number 15 with 29,000. Let's see. J. Cole, The Fall Off, got back on the charts. I don't know for what reason, but at number 26 with 24,000 sold. Drake, Take Care, number 29 with 23,000 sold. Chris Brown, number 30 with 23,000 sold. He's dropping another like deluxe version. Like this guy just drops way too many songs on an album. It's ridiculous. And that's what really hinders a lot of his albums from being classics. It's too much music on one project. It's gotten ridiculous. Let's see here. Drake Views, number 47 with 18,000. And that's it for album sales. Let's get into the Billboard Hot 100. And like I said, man, if you spend a 2nd week at number 1, it's a hit. So Janice STFU is still at number 1. And it is his longest running number 1 since 2018 with In My Feelings. So that should just tell you all the number 1s that Drake has gotten since 2018 have just stayed at number 1 for 1 week and then fell off, which we saw with Michael Jackson as well. But, I'm like, back then it was harder to get number 1, like way harder. So with streaming, debuting at number 1 and just staying at there for the hype and the week, I don't really count as much as like previous times, but it is what it is. That's what times we were in. But shout out to Drake, an actual number 1 hit with Janice STFU. Really dope. Choosing Texas, Ellie Langley, number 2. Be Her, Ella Langley, number 3. Shebang, Drake, number 4, which didn't move at all. Stayed at number 4, which is cool. The Cure, Olivia Rodrigo, number 5. Ran to Atlanta, Drake, number 6. So Easy, Olivia Dean, number 7. I Just Might, Bruno Mars, number 8. Whisper My Name, Drake, number 9. And then Man I Need, Olivia Dean, number 10. It's only like 3 fucking artists in these like top 10. It's crazy. National Treasures, Drake, number 11. Too Hard for the Radio, Drake, number 15. I've been listening to that a lot more, so I actually like that record. Billie Jean, Michael Jackson, number 19. Plot Twist, Drake, number 21. Make Them Pay, Drake, number 22. Dust, Drake, number 24. Bees on the Table, Drake, 21 Savage, number 27. Burning Bridges, Drake, number 28. Chicago, Michael Jackson, number 30. This is a song that Michael recorded in the late 90s that he never released. So it's crazy that this track that he just never cared to actually release is actually doing well for him, which is number 30 is insane. Human Nature, Michael Jackson, number 31. What Did I Miss? Drake, number 34. Make Them Cry, Drake, number 35. Lil Birdie, Drake, number 39. Pop That Thing, The Baby, number 40. I'm Spent, Drake, number 42. Don't Stop Till Get Enough, Michael Jackson, 43. Don't Worry, Drake, number 45. And so on and so forth, man. I can't go on all these Drake records. There's still a lot of Drake records on here, which is amazing. You know, I don't think there's only been a few that actually fell off, and those were the ones that were like in the 80s and 90s. So he's still got quite a few songs charting still. But yeah, the biggest one is Janice STFU. I hope the Too Hard for the Radio or the Ran to Atlanta becomes a number one. I think those records are really dope. Besides the beat switches, but it is what it is. And I might actually change my Iceman rank album rating, man. I think I gave it a 6. I think that was too harsh, man. The more that I listen to it, I think I'm gonna up it to a 7 because, you know, I listen to Too Hard for the Radio a lot more, and I've been enjoying that record a lot more. And I had it on my worst songs list, which was crazy to me. So yeah, like as time gone on, I think the album is starting to age a little bit better for me, versus, you know, when I first heard it and sat with it for like a week. So yeah, that's my take on it. That's it for today's episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast. As always, appreciate you guys. Stream us, Spotify, Deezer, Podcast, YouTube, all that. Have an amazing night, day, whenever you listen to us, and peace.